very concerned that there are still a lot of seniors out there that are very confused about the evacuation zones. It's kind of a new way of evacuating that the sheriff is using, and a lot of people are calling us and saying they're not sure which zone they're in. So I wanted to give a couple of phone numbers
for our supervisors, Linda Hopkins and Shirley Zane. If we have any questions from the media for our two Board of Supervisors representing this morning. And it looks like we have a question from Mary Callahan with the Press Democrat. So Mary, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Linda. I'm wondering if you can tell me what you're hearing from your district about where there has been damage, what neighborhoods have been affected at this point.
Yeah, I was out on the ground yesterday afternoon, had an opportunity to sort of tour the area a little bit with a local fire chief, and there has been some damage sustained to Upper Sweetwater Springs, but there were also homes that were saved. I was not able to go and visit the Mill Creek area, but I do know that over in James Ford's district that area was hit pretty hard as well. I was talking to a friend of mine from Rio Nito, and he had estimated that there was maybe 1 or 2 dozen people who had stayed, and many of them were actually evacuating yesterday afternoon, even though they had not followed the original mandatory evacuation order. I am by no means a fire expert, but I was able to spend a few hours with the fire chief yesterday, and he was extraordinarily helpful in terms of just explaining the fire's behavior. A lot of the behavior, as Chief Nichols shared earlier, is backing behavior, where it's going down a slope, really not driven by wind, but driven by fuel. And so that tends to be sort of a slower growth, but then what can happen is that after it hits the bottom of, say, a ravine, it can then run back up to the ridge line, and it can actually gain more energy and more heat as it goes uphill.
It's 9:35 at KSRO. I'm Pat Kerrigan as we continue our fire coverage, and you heard these referred to during the press briefing. New evacuation orders are out this morning as of 9 a.m. and about 1,900 people will be covered in this evacuation order, and that is really the area from Guerneville to Rio Dell on the backside. So the evacuation order is in place for all areas south of the Russian River, east and north of Highway 116, that's Pocket Canyon, also west of Martinelli Road. Also new evacuation warnings, and this is the area surrounding Forestville, east and north of Green Valley Road, south and west of Highway 116. For 1,000 firefighters on the job. That's the good news about that is it's twice as many as there was a couple of days ago. Those are in Sonoma, Napa, Solano, and Lake County. So 1,000 firefighters there. The Walbridge fire had entered the back end of Armstrong Redwoods, which is about a 800-acre preserve for the redwoods out there. Beautiful. A lot of people take advantage of that area in Sonoma County, and so the priority for the firefighters is to try to make a stand between Armstrong Woods and the towns of Guerneville and Rio Nito, and that is the next concern as far as the weather goes for Sunday into Monday. We are looking at the possibility of cloudy skies, maybe a chance of a thunderstorm or two. Along with those thunderstorms comes the possibility of more lightning, the cause for the fires that we are engaged in now. It is not expected to be anything like we experienced over last Sunday and Monday, but still obviously a very big concern for firefighters as they try to contend with the firefight or the fires that were started by the last series of strikes.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, August 21st, 2020. I hope that your Friday is off to a good start. You heard few snippets of news on there. In addition, saw a fire map. Rather than trying to answer people individually, I have a lot of people, as you can imagine, when I wake up in the morning wanting updates on what's going on. So it's a lot easier for me to do just a blanket update here. The air is clear here today, but that is only due to a wind shift. As you heard from one of the news snippets, the evacuation areas have been expanded, and tonight we do have, this afternoon into this evening, we have a bit of a wind event. We're expecting winds to pick up, and because they generally come out of the northwest down to the southeast, it puts us in a position where, well, despite a pretty good night last night with the fire only advancing 1,100 acres, we know that when wind gets behind that and pushes in the southeast direction, it pushes smoke into our area, and in addition, it brings the fire closer to urban centers such as Healdsburg and Windsor. Our situation is still okay here. It's going to be very difficult absent enough firefighting here, and we do have over 1,000 firefighters massed here fighting the fire in the county. It's really difficult to see how it's going to play out. And then on Sunday we have a larger possible lightning storm event coming in again. So it's very touch and go here. But skies are still a bit smoky, but they're a lot clearer today. I had planned to be out doing a little bit of traveling, but I think I'm going to stay close to home because so many of the outlying areas are now closed to traffic. There's evacuation warnings and mandatory evacuation orders out there. So I don't really feel like I want to be out there and be potentially blocking anything from people trying to evacuate and move out of the area. A lot of these areas where the fire is are in canyons, in hillsides, where they're rather sparsely populated, but the roads are such that they're narrow, and you certainly don't want to be that person who's blocking up a road when fire or equipment is trying to get up there. So I think I'm going to play it close to home today. So that is that's the update. You can examine the fire map. You can go to www.calfire.org if you want to see the updated. They update that every 6 hours in terms of where the evacuations are. There's also looks like little arrows on the map. If you expand the map, if you do log on, it shows where cameras are placed, observational cameras that were put in place after the Great Fire of 2017, so they could get advanced spotting on where the fires were on the ridges and things like that. So if you care to really follow it closely. Otherwise, I wish you a great day, and stay safe for yourself as we enter really the dog days of summer here. Thanks, everybody.